Thank you for pressing the self-destruct button. This ship will self-destruct in 3 minutes.
Ah! No.
Fool you!
There we go. Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you. No, I was not on mute. It was that my Phil Ness audio thing crashed, and it messed up my microphone. Sorry about that, guys. But yes, you got to see my intro. It grinds my ears. What's up, Glinda? Kev, yes, I know I was late. I was working on my thumbnail. As you can see, it's a little rushed, but I wanted to get it out there. But yes, we're going to talk about today our favorite topic of XCloud and its rollout because it's planning to come out in September. So, guys, yes, Phil Ness, he tried to hold me down. You know, he always done. But thank you for letting me know there's no audio. But Sam Ash, Game Night, Glorious, Kev, Glinza, Alru, what's up? We are going to do, let me fix my microphone here because this thing is coming off here. Sorry for the lack of audio. I'll put a note in the comments down there. But we're going to talk about our favorite topic. Salty, what's up? Yo, we're going to talk about that topic. Buck Roger, what's up? As you come in, guys, hit that like button, share this thing out. Let's go double banger status. No more quadruple A. Take that initiative. We're going to double banger status. Noob of Games, how you doing? So I'm going to talk about the biggest topic that we always talk about. Chrono Triggered, how we doing, man? Our wonderful, wonderful XCloud, you know, XCloud.
A huge cloud of shit. Wow. God, I think I smell it. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. So, we are oh, yes. This is not even this is like a redemption show, but like this is like I told you so. You know, when I'm labeled as hashtag fearmongerer, hashtag complainer, hashtag negative, hashtag that's my name, grinds my gears, and I'm going to tell you what I think, and what I think is sometimes comes true because I'm not all rainbows and sunshine and pony shit. I'm telling you the way it is, and I'm a consumer, and I'm telling you where it's going. I followed Microsoft. I've been through a lot of their trash. I know where they're going with this stuff. So fighting that good fight, trying to tell them to do what you want them to do, yeah, that's falling on deaf ears. We're going to talk about that too. Hit that titty. Oh, Jesus. Kev Glorious Kev says, hit that titty, slap that button. Oh, snap. You'll slap it. We're going to do this. I want to do this. And I'm going to say,
it. I don't want to hear nothing else.
That's right. I don't hear nothing else. This is what I've been saying. So with that, let's start off with the thumbnail topic. Let's talk about what the big topic is right now. In that, Apple is not playing Kumbaya. Google is not really playing Kumbaya. Sony is not playing Kumbaya. Phil's roasting those marshmallows. Nobody's coming to his campfire. This is the problem. And I've said this on this show countless times. Whenever people are like, oh, it's pro-consumer, Phil is just loving everybody, he's giving it to PC, oh, give them all the IP, give them exclusives, more people to play their games, means more money in Microsoft's pocket, which means more exclusives and more studios, the money goes right back. No. Yeah. The challenge is, just if you haven't seen the news, is that iOS, XCloud, is going to be rolling out in September. Right now, XCloud, they came out on Samsung stage, and they're going to be kind of aligned with Samsung, which they've been doing. You know, I think that every single Samsung Unpacked event, Phil and either Satya have shown up there just to kind of plug the cloud and XCloud and stuff like that. Which Samsung, you know, they love all those. They're almost like the Ubisoft of phones. Like Samsung just loves all the gizmos and wonky shit. But what's interesting about this is that Samsung has their own app store, right? We know that they have their own app store. That's where a lot of their gear apps and stuff like that also are there. But they are going to have a special edition of the Xbox Game Pass app because Google wants to take a piece of the subscriptions. And this is the thing. Both Google and Apple, just like Steam, take money when you put an app on there because you're putting it on their store, so they got to do a cut. Just like, you know, if I make like a bunch of like, speaking about marshmallows, I make chocolate cover marshmallows and I'm going to go put them in somebody's store and say, you mind selling my chocolate marshmallows for me? Well, yeah, I sell them for $5. Well, guess what? I'm not going to get that full $5 for my chocolate marshmallows. I'm going to have to give a cut to the storefront that's putting my marshmallows up there. Okay. Google and Apple the same way. The difference is that's how they want some money. Sorry, Salty, I know you want those marshmallows. It's summertime. Let's do some marshmallows and s'mores, baby. Yo, on a side note, I'm going to tell you something. I saw something on the TikTok. Maybe Microsoft buys them. A cool way to make s'mores, make them inside of an ice cream cone. Interesting. That is cool. Put the chocolate and the marshmallow inside of a graham cracker ice cream cone and then roast that surrounded in foil. That's, hey, you heard it here. Grinds my gears. Not only an advocate for games, but I'm also a chef. Nah. So, anyway. So, basically, they get a cut, right? So now, yeah, you could, Buck Rogers, yeah, you could just basically put marshmallows outside of his window and we can make them. Yo, what's up, Impatient? How you doing? So, the thing is that they're going to get a cut, right? So, Microsoft has this thing where they want you to kind of buy things within the store. Like, if you're streaming something, you could buy DLC for a game. Because you know what? That's the key. That's the aspect that they want with this xCloud. See, you got to remember the Philness of going after 2 billion gamers. It's not because they want 2 billion people to play their games. It's trying to do the thing that I call whale shopping. And what is whale shopping? Well, you know what the whale is. The whale is the person who pays for all the microtransactions. They buy a lot of things. That's the whole point of this. It's getting more people access to your game so they're more likely, there's better chances for them to buy more shit for that game. That's the Phil Ness. That's the business of Phil Ness. That's what it is. He wants to put out a games as a service for a service of subscriptions, but then now you play that game on a cell phone or on a game, right? You play that game. But now you buy content for it. You buy a $5 skin, a $6 skin for these games that you technically don't own. They're part of a subscription. Right? Business of the Philness. I should have named it this, then maybe that. I don't know. Maybe change the title, but maybe not. Anyway. So the thing is that DLC, the store owners want to cut. So what they've done now, the special app that they're going to put in the Samsung store is going to bypass the Google 30% cut that they get for in-app purchases. You know, when you download a free app and there's like in-app purchases, yeah, every time you do a purchase, Google gets a cut of that. Usually it goes through Google's credit card system, and you basically pay with Google, you know, because your credit card's stored on it. That's a convenience factor that those app developers are giving a cut for. Just like the mafia, you know? Google Mafia, right?
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
But basically, that's what they're doing. So they're doing this special Samsung store. Well, guess what? On the whole notion of anti-consumer and all that other stuff, guess what? I have an LG 8X. G8X, right? It's a dual screen phone. You slip it in a case and it's dual screen. It has a software game controller. It's like a portable DS. I've tried XCloud on it. It works, right? But that's the beta of XCloud. It's okay. But they got this exclusive Samsung deal, and it's because Google doesn't want it. They want to try to avoid that and make max profit, right? And Google's listening to me. So there they kind of finesse the Google. So Android, they're kind of okay with Android, and that's where XCloud's going to live. But in the Kumbaya world that Phil Spencer wants to work in, he wants on iOS, which they were beta testing. They were beta testing the iOS app on Google, so on Apple iOS. They were beta testing the XCloud app. Let's see, I'm going to get right here. So, what The Verge says today is that, hold on, let me get my display capture. So, what The Verge says today is that the tests now have been deleted. The beta app, it's gone. And it says that Apple's App Store policies appear to be holding back XCloud. Apple sells their own Game Pass. So does Google, which is another reason why the Samsung store seems to be a better approach for them, because, you know, I think that's kind of their way in the back door, right? But Apple had this issue, and I brought this up back when Microsoft wanted to reach 2 billion gamers. When I'm like, they're pushing this XCloud thing. The problem is that they're depending on their competition to try for success. Microsoft had a mobile operating system. They had a mobile phone. By not having those things now, their own stuff, they got to turn to now Google, who's their competition, Apple, who's their competition, and now try to crawl up their ass and be successful. That's why the challenge that XCloud has is that Microsoft doesn't have a device to really deliver this to the masses. You know what they did have? They had the Xbox console. They could have used that as a gateway to try to get people on. But you know what? More and more of these announcements come out, and the more and more they piss off their Xbox console owners, having them to have to pay for online, having them not get exclusive games and putting games only on PC, putting their IP such as Banjo on competing devices such as the Switch. Yeah, those things don't bode well with your core audience. That was your device. You failed phones. You failed Windows S and trying to get a mobile laptop service out there. They've been trying to get in the App Store. That's been the biggest problem. Windows 10 Store was a place, And the thing is like the Windows 10 Store was their application. Remember the UWP and trying to use that as a method of delivering their own apps. Nobody wanted to buy into it. Nobody wanted to make UWP apps. They scratched it. And this has been a trope of Microsoft. They introduce things and they seem very promising, but the problem is they don't see them through, or developers just don't jump on and Microsoft drops it. And that constant cyclical pattern of them just like doing something and then dropping it. Like Mixer. Do you think if Microsoft launches a service of streaming in the future, do you think all those people that got screwed by Mixer would be jumping on that now? No. They've affected that group. Now those people, you fool me once, I jumped onto a UWP bandwagon. I remember the developer. I did it all. And then it's like, well, we're not supporting UWP anymore. Like if you want, like it's a wrap, and they have all this talk. It's like, and all the stuff was hyped up. DirectX 12, the cloud processing, you want to know what? It all goes to garbage. So now, all the ambitions of putting this on iOS, which is a huge hit to them, because guess what? iOS has a kind of an exception to this. Instead of playing on this 5-inch screen, iPads are huge. Android tablets, not so much. It's only Samsung that's alive with an Android tablet, not many. And Android is really poor on a tablet. I have tons of Android tablets. It's not the same experience as an iPad, which they have curated apps specifically for that hardware. And that's what Apple does. They make sure they put quality out there for their hardware and software. So they have the iPad, and not having iOS doesn't only just affect not having them on phones, but man, not having it on an iPad. And remember everybody was talking, yo, what's up, Ravenflow? Remember everybody was talking about, Xbox, the controller works on an iPad, and yeah, well, it came to a halt today. They canceled the tester. They had about 10,000 testers. They don't comply with Apple Store policies. They pulled it. It doesn't work anymore. And it says that the Apple Store policies. And let me see which one it says. This is the one that I mentioned back before, because Apple had issues putting the Steam streaming service on their thing, where you could beam your PC games to your iOS devices with a Steam Link. Apple blocked it. And the thing is Apple restricts limits on remote desktop clients. Means that apps that are only allowed to connect to a user-owned host device or game console owned by a user. Both the host and client must be connected on a local network. While Microsoft could potentially work around an in-app purchase app store, the remote desktop client is the bigger hurdle. That's the thing. It's related to that. Apple's rules on in-app purchases. Remember that in-app purchase, because Apple wants a cut and they have specific regulations to it. But it also restricts limits on remote desktop clients. And it's a user-owned device. See, they're hooking to a cloud device. They're not hooking to a user thing. So this is going to hurt XCloud, because iOS is very popular. And these policies, see, here's the thing before about Valve Steam Link. Took nearly a year for Apple to approve it, although it just streams games from your home PC. Exactly, Buck Roger. And this is what I was stating before, that the challenge that Microsoft has. And I said this, Microsoft under Satya has turned into a virus. They need the host to succeed. It just happens that the host is their competition. It's Google. Google and you butt heads. YouTube apps. You can't stream to YouTube from your Xbox. That's not because Xbox is not capable of it. It's due to bullshit between Google and Microsoft. Apple, they have their own store. They're walled garden. But you want to know what? That's how they ensure curation and quality in their apps. That's their policy. It's their garden. And guess what? You think they're going to open up their garden anytime soon? For XCloud? No. Unless they're doing some bad practices and a bunch of companies are complaining about them, what they're trying to do. But they are doing it just to Android phones, and specifically the Samsung phones. And I think more so, and again, Salty, it's a huge L that they can't do it. Like, a lot of people I saw today were like, well, not on iOS. Well, then xCloud is dead to me. Now, how does that go for people that are paying the $15 a month? Now that $15 a month, if you're paying for Game Pass, well, guess what? If you have an iPhone, that xCloud is worth nothing to you. Right? Oh, you got xCloud with your Game Pass subscription, but I have an iOS device. Well, too bad. Go buy Android. Oh, really? This is what happens when you have to depend on your competition because you failed at consumer devices. Microsoft failed at consumer devices. They failed with the phone. They failed with the app stores. Just like the Windows 10 store. They failed with that. They had to put their games on Steam. And look how many people are buying their games on Steam now. They didn't want to go to that Xbox Windows 10 store to buy anything. Sea of Thieves was in there for 3 years. And they still waited it out until it showed up on Steam. Nobody wanted to subscribe for it. Nobody wanted to buy it in the Windows 10 store. And Microsoft still never fixed that goddamn Windows 10 store. Now that it's so confusing, you buy Game Pass, but when you open up the Game Pass app, it still says you don't have it. They have they are just so poor with their implementation. This has been since Games with Windows Live, Xbox Live on PC. This has been their MO. They cannot get it straight. The only thing that seemed to be successful and seemed to be usable was the goddamn Xbox, and that's the thing that they're least focusing on now. To talk such a big game about xCloud, how do you reach 2 billion gamers when you are not on iOS devices and you're not on 120 million consoles with the PlayStation and with the Nintendo? Those console markets are so big now with between PlayStation and Nintendo have such huge console markets, and I think they're going to even be bigger next generation. How the hell does Microsoft get on there? And there's another problem. Oh, we're not going to put because we cannot give the full experience. Remember Phil said that? We cannot give the full experience of xCloud on PlayStation. You want to know why? Because PlayStation wants to sell games from their storefront. They don't want NBA 2K22 to be on xCloud and somebody just play Microsoft service on the PlayStation and they don't buy NBA from the PlayStation store. They'll be losing money from their store. But you want to know what? This is the problem that Xbox has. You cannot be successful when you got to depend on your competition to make you succeed. Because as soon as you show a little bit of success, they're going to shut you down.
And that's it. I don't want to hear nothing else.
They're going to shut you down. You think if xCloud blows up on Google, you think, and Stadia is in the background, you think Google is going to take xCloud? Yeah, they're not going to remove it. You know what they're going to do? Put xCloud on app on page 5 and put that Stadia front and center. Actually, pre-install Stadia on every goddamn Android device. So people don't even have to go search for that Xbox app. They'll get Stadia thrown right in their face pre-installed. You think? You know that's what's going to happen. You think Google is going to advertise this when they got a competing service to XCloud? No way. They're not going to. They're going to shut that down. They're going to be, you know what? Put the Game Pass app, put it on page 7. I want Stadia on everything right now, pre-installed. 6 months free when you buy an Android phone. And where does Phil go with this? Him and his bag of marshmallows, where's he going? Nobody wants your kumbaya shit. That's why when we sit here and say, kumbaya, Phil's so nice, he is just liquidating their assets. He's taking everything that they had and just trying to shop that shit around. And the problem is, the Phil Ness on the problem is with this. You can't blame PlayStation for going, well, I don't want XCloud on my system right now because you're going to take from my store. You can't blame Apple for going, well, our policies say that you can only access remote things. We don't want people hacking or whatever that shit. We don't want that stuff. We want a protected store because that's what our customers want. And they're doing fine. And that's the thing. PlayStation, they're doing great without XCloud. Apple, they're doing wonders without XCloud. Samsung, they don't need XCloud. But they're like, you know what? Throw it in our Samsung store, whatever. Samsung's like the Ubisoft. I said this before. They let's put like facial recognition and 30 cameras on the front. Steam's not going to put Game Pass in their friggin' store. Why would they? Oh, just subscribe to Xbox's service and you don't buy games for Steam? Oh, no. That's why Microsoft failed. That Windows 10 store was their walled garden to try to protect their content and protect their purchases. And that didn't work. And then they had to go to Steam. And once they went to Steam, now they're at the mercy of paying royalties to Steam. Now they're at the mercy of paying royalties to Google. And they would be at the mercy of paying royalties to the App Store and Apple. Because they got to depend on all their competition who wants a cut of what they're selling. The only thing they could have controlled and really drove it was the Xbox console. But guess what? That's not the most important thing to them anymore. They abandoned the core audience to shop this shit around to casuals on phones without a mobile platform. They don't have a Windows 10 phone. They don't have a mobile operating system. That Windows 10 store was their mobile way of trying to... Remember Windows 10C or 10S that they were just going to make? It's basically a scaled down version of Windows that's installed on PCs that only allows you to install UWP apps or apps from the store. Then you could upgrade to Pro. You had to pay. It was free for the first year. And then you could upgrade to and download legacy apps. Well, guess what? They washed that shit right out because nobody wanted to be limited to the Windows 10 store for all their applications. People want their legacy applications. And then what happened? They scrapped that idea and they scrapped UWP. And they said, you know what? People just want their legacy applications. They don't want mobile versions of them. They're not even into touchscreens that much. Just let's go back. And they went right back to Win32. They failed on all fronts. And that's why this thing is it's not going to kick off. It's not going to. None of these cloud things actually are hitting really hard. Stadia is limited to pixels. They still didn't put Stadia really on a lot of devices. They just started adding them to Android devices. What's up, Merc? How you doing? Let's look at some of these chats. Yo, BitCloud, how you doing? They aren't buying that snake oil, says Salty. What's up, Cyber Dragon? Ravenflow says, can't blame Steam gamers for not jumping ship. Yep. I agree. Oh, I got a bunch of... Yeah, hit that like button, guys. Share this out. And we're going to do... Game night facts, he says. Oh, Jose says something. I want to go back to Jose. What did Jose say? Let's see. Jose says... Where did Jose go? Let me go here. Yeah, that's up, BitCloud. Yep, I'm at it again. Thank you. Thank you. Holy shit, we're at quadruple A status already. My goodness, 30 minutes. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome, man. I won't go back to what Jose said. Jose said a nice thing. I'm going to go read back to what where is he? Jose Nunez. Where did he write it? He wrote a big thing here. Uncle Phil looking for a new job. And that was not what I was looking for, but you're right. Third party's not going to want to. And, you're making. He made a good point here saying third party. And that's another challenge. That's a challenge now, Jose, with the content. Look at the content that's in Game Pass, right? Not even XCloud, but Game Pass is XCloud. XCloud is Game Pass, right? Right now, the content. But look, EA, Ubisoft has their own subscription. EA has their own EA Access, an Origin store, right? Everybody tried to create their own store because they don't want to pay royalties to another person for their content. EA doesn't want to make a game and then say put it on Steam, which they eventually did, but they also, the way they've tried to justify that, though, is by doing EA. So, like with our system, you could subscribe and get EA games through EA All Access, or you could buy them a la carte on Steam. So they compromise in that sense. But, like, everybody makes up their own store. Ubisoft, everybody's making up their own stuff, which is a challenge because now EA has EA Access. It's like, well, we have a subscription already, Phil. Why are we going to put our games in your XCloud and have you make money off our games when we can make full money off X? So, like, a lot of these companies already are doing this. Now, as they fail, maybe they start merging together because, it kind of reminds me of all these startups, like back in the day with all the website startups, and then they started converging and stuff like that. But the thing is that I said the challenge that Microsoft was going to have with this whole 2 billion game was that they are irrelevant outside of the country. They are, especially for gaming, they are really down for that. Maybe not irrelevant, maybe it's too harsh, but they are really not the place. Like, mobile gaming's where it's at. I have two problems with this. One, nobody wants to play a game like Gears 5 with that kind of graphic fidelity and those little small reticules on a 5-inch screen. Nonetheless, we've seen this, and I'm going to show this too. Just the idea of XCloud, right? Just the idea of XCloud. So the problem is getting their service on devices. That's their competition. Their competition is going to squash them if they do that. That's the big point here. Just like a virus, they need a host. Because Phil wants his services to be the virus, but they need hosts. Problem is, the hosts are their competition. And they're going to keep that virus in check. They're not going to let it just blow up and Phil take over the world. No, they're not going to. Secondly, this is the biggest problem that they have right now. And it goes to what Jose was saying. Yo, DeFloyd, what's up? The biggest problem, and it's what I talk about all the time, is the curation and content. Apple, Google, PlayStation, Nintendo, Microsoft is shopping around with a bag full of dog shit. It's harsh, but it's real. And don't take my word for it.
Means when I think about Xbox, I'm going to think about quality games. We have work to do there. We haven't done our best work over the last few years with our first-party output.
That's always been a hit on the company, on that, whatever.
Yeah, Phil says it. We're not quality in the last few years. So you're going around with some dog shit trying to put this on other devices. And people are like, what? I got to adjust my policies for what? So my iOS fans could play Bleeding Edge? No. Oh, so they could play Grounded? Like, I'm going to adjust it. I'm going to accept this Phil Ness so people can play Grounded? No. Did Gears 5 take the world by storm? No. The thing is what Phil should have done went doubled down on making quality, amazing games from their studios. Games that desirable, that people want. Not meh, it's in Game Pass, I'll give it a try. Not a lineup of that, but actually games that people want to play. And if you don't think that that's reasonable, let me give this example. Grinders, in the chat, tell me if Epic Game Store would have been created before Fortnite. If Epic Games says we're making a storefront and they never had a Fortnite, they will be laughed out of the PC world. They're like, who? What are you putting in the Epic Games Store? Rainflow says, check my Twitter. What happened? Who did what? Oh, that's funny. Oh man, that would have been on my other show, but I'm gonna show this here. Look at this. I said, who needs Spider-Man, right? You got Craig. There he is, Craig the Thing. That actually looks more detailed than the goddamn Halo Infinite model. Shit, Ravenflow. Shout out to Ravenflow. Ravenflow. This should go on his back. Remember, tramp stamps go in the back. Phil realized that. He knew that tramp stamp doesn't go in the front. He's like, who did that? That tramp stamp goes in the back. But yep, there he is. Who needs Spider-Man when you got Craig? Phil loves him. It's their mascot. I think I'm probably make a game out of him. Maybe they'll make him DLC and put him in goddamn Sea of Thieves. Who knows? You know, Phil loves that stuff. Maybe Aaron Greenberg will dress up as him. You never know. Those textures are amazing. That is hilarious. That is getting the retweet. And I'm going to have to say, you're seeing this live. You're seeing Grinds at work. Who needs Spider-Man? You're seeing the Grinds at work right now, guys. You're seeing me at work right now. Tweeting live. Who needs Spider-Man? Thank you, Ravenflow. And thank you, Salty, for tweeting out the podcast. Spider Brute. Oh, man, did you see my tweet today where I said that they're going to make an expansion with the Brute, Craig, and it's going to be called Craig's Brutal World. Anybody? Craig's Brutal World.
This stuff will make you a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus. Just like me.
Yeah, strap this on your sore-ass plane.
Anyway. I don't have the other things. But remember, when you fight Greg.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
If it bleeds, we can kill it. Oh, I got tagged on something? Let's see, man. You guys are oh yes, I see this. Oh, this was another thing. So you guys are derailing my point here, but this is fun stuff though. This is what the Grindhouse does, man. Look at this. Oh. They remade the game.
What's in it? We're dead. No, you get you. No.
Oh no. Oh no. Yo, those trees look like the same trees that we saw. We went back to the original graphics. We went back to the original graphics.
No deal.
But good job, Hoopley. Good job, Hoopley. Uncut. You got the Grinds My Gears uncut. Oh man, I tell you, you guys. Oh, yeah, that's right. Where is it? Where is it? I should have played it.
I'd buy that for $1.
That's right. That's right. That actually looks that's cold-blooded. But Phil says
we're really focusing first on what it means to play these games on your phone. So we thought about how can we get as many people playing on a phone as possible.
That's right, Phil. That's the most important thing. Getting these people to play on a phone when you have a $500 goddamn fucking console that you're trying to sell. That's the point. Trying to get people to play on a phone. That's what it's all about. It's not going to work. And you know what's going to happen? This XCloud bullshit is too early. It's not going to work. And you know what? You think Microsoft sees things through? Let's go ask Mixer. Mixer. We'll go to Mixer's website. Mixer. Does Microsoft see things through if they don't work out at first? Let's see. Do they? Oh, your princess is in another goddamn castle. Yeah, so what happens when they don't go play on phones, Phil? And this whole XCloud thing on just Samsung and Android phones, nobody wants to walk around with a goddamn strap on their phone. What happens then, Phil? Because this is the end game. The end game is XCloud. Game Pass is a means to XCloud. Game Pass, yeah, ask the Zune. I'll ask my my $100, where is it? I'll ask my $100 Xbox Music card right here. $100 sitting in this drawer that reminds me of the bullshit that they just dropped it. Didn't even acknowledge it. I had a $100 card. I couldn't even use it because they shut down the goddamn Groove Music. Oh, but they kept the fucking app on the Windows 10 store. I get to see it, but I can't uninstall it. Great job. But here it is. XCloud is the future of Xbox. Getting people to more people to play your games. PC, Xbox, people on their phones, just like Phil says.
We're really focusing first on what it means to play these games on your phone.
So he wants these on their phone. Okay. And when people don't do that, and you want to know why XCloud is not it? I'm going to show you why. Who in the fuck is walking around with this fucking contraption with their phone?
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Who? This defeats the purpose of a mobility. Who's walking around with this? First off, this is the lazy shit that Microsoft does. For all the goddamn controllers that they make, you're telling me they can't make a decent controller that basically has maybe a flip out grip or a portable controller that works with your phone or anything like that? That's right, Pug Channel, Windows Phone, Zune, Mixer, UWP, Connect, Cortana. She's done too. They're taking her off the phones. Put her in goddamn, and they're putting her in isolation. Cortana, remember you could talk to your Xbox and go, oh, what's the weather, Cortana? Is my friend online? Yeah, well, she's done. When you have a phone, if you gotta bring this to experience the games on XCloud, nobody's doing that. Look at this. You can't look at this thing. You tell me, when I watch Netflix on my phone, I don't need to bring a fucking movie theater with me. How many people watch Netflix on their phone if they gotta bring like a fucking speaker set with them? Who is bringing a full goddamn controller and a goddamn strap on? Look at this thing. Who? By Moga, nonetheless. Moga made Android flip-out controllers. I have it over here. I don't know where the hell. I got to take a photo of it. I got it for free at PAX. You want to know when? I got a Moga controller for free 5 fucking years ago from PowerA and Moga. A GameStop exclusive accessory on Android phones so you could play emulators and ROMs. I think it was longer than that. They gave it out for free. Moga controllers. This shit's been around. Controllers for your phones. They've been around since the dawn of fucking time when Android was trying to get their platform to be a gaming platform. And you want to know what they realized?
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Nobody wants to do that. People want a casual phone game so when they're waiting in line at the bank, they boot it up and play goddamn Panda Pop. Or a game that just lets you just swipe with your thumb. Nobody wants to go, oh, wait, what? Excuse me? You said it's going to be 10 minutes for me to talk to somebody? Hold on. Pulls this shit out. Straps the phone in. You're going to look like fucking Inspector Gadget. The fuck out of here. People be like, what the fuck is this guy doing? He's like, go Gadget, Xbox controller. Go Gadget, strap on. Loading. Gears, yeah, gears. Oh, you can talk to me now? Hold on. Retract, Xbox controller. Retract, strap on. All right, I can talk to you now. Who the... What Inspector Gadget motherfucker is going to be using that thing? That defeats the whole purpose of mobility. Fuck! Headphones were too busy. Headphones were too big to bring with your goddamn phone, so they give you little fucking earbuds now that you put in your ears and you stick them in your ears. Hello, Apple iPods and Samsung Pods and Buds. Because headphones were too big. Headphones were too... What? I gotta bring this big-ass headphone to listen to my phone? No, just put a goddamn little bud in my ear. A headphone is just too big. But wait a second. Give me this fucking huge-ass controller so I could play a goddamn fucking Xbox game over the internet streaming at the bank. What world do you live in? Now, not only do you have to do this Inspector Gadget shit, but then you got to depend on your network. Good luck with that. You're in the bank. You're at McDonald's. Your Wi-Fi is powered by fry oil. And you're going to be playing with the... Hold on, honey. Let me go get my gaming bag and pull out this contraption. Because I want to play a little bit of fucking Grounded. Please. Oh, but you could do touchscreens. Please. I want somebody to at least play a half hour of Gears 5 using a fucking touchscreen on a 5-inch screen over 4G. I can't wait to see that stream. Guys, this XCloud, this streaming shit to phones, it's a goddamn party trick. Maybe a good pickup line at a bar. Hey, check it out. Look what I could do with my phone. You know that new game that just came out? Check this out. Oh my God, that is so hot. Like, get the... It's a goddamn party trick. Hold on, guys. Look what I can do. Look what I can do.
What's with kids today, huh? No respect.
But then you go and say, Phil, what am I going to play with XCloud? What? Grounded? Crackdown 3? State of Decay 2? Lucky's Tales? Forza? Gears? Halo with original assets? I think that's what we should call Infinite. Halo with original assets. And Meh Brute? The Brute with the Meh face? It's a great conversation starter. That's right, Buck Rogers. He watches porn on his phone. Yeah. You know what? I think that's more effective than whipping this thing out. Because I think somebody will find where this strap-on's going to go right up your ass. Because somebody's going to be like, what the look at how sloppy this shit is. I got the Mocha control for free. It has a fucking clip that flips out from the middle that I'm able to clip my phone in. It's small and it's sleek. This is a big-ass controller with a big-ass strap-on. I gotta find the video of this thing. Hold on. Where's the video? Somebody had the video of this thing. Like, it is like... Where the fuck's this video of it? Look. Loves himself, man. Loves himself. If I was him, I would have my head between my legs and fixing fucking Halo. I would not be touting my ass out on a goddamn Samsung stage talking about some goddamn streaming bullshit. You have work to do. You go to 343 and you flip over some fucking tables. That's what you should be doing, not touting your ass over here and talking more bullshit. That's what he does. That's what he does. He shows you bullshit and he fucking comes out and he talks more bullshit. After that spectacular showing of Halo Infinite, you know, I can't wait to... I'm so excited that you'll get a free Mocha controller with your... Why? You guys make 5 billion fucking controllers. You make the Elite controller, the Elite 2, the Xbox controller, in colors of gloriousness. Instead, you're going to send people a fucking free Mocha Bluetooth controller. Mocha control. That Mocha is like the fucking controller they used to get back in the day when you didn't want to buy the official brand. You're like, you know what? That's the little brother controller. You know what? Yeah, brother, you get the Mocha controller. Oh man, I want the real controller. No, you get the fucking budget one because that one was $10 cheaper. Where's that video? It's not coming to Samsung TV. Nobody wants to play the games on the service. I just wanted to see that there was one where they had an animation of that thing clicking and shit. Maybe it was on Twitter. Oh, God. Fucking Paris. He used to be Uncle Gamer, man. He used to be all Xbox. They shipped him out. He played all that stuff, and now he's just capping for everything that they're doing. He wants all this cloud streaming bullshit. Yeah, here it is. This is done. Right? Where the hell is it? Nah, can't find it. But anyway, it's an animation of that Samsung controller. Maybe it's here. Oh, it's like something like this. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll look up Samsung Mocha. Here. If you're looking for a phone clip to play Stadia on your Samsung, Power A does the job. Like, the thing is that they're not even making controllers with these clips built into them. If this is the mechanism, instead these clips are like separate. They're like attachments to an accessory. It's an accessory for an accessory. Oh, you sent me some stuff? Yeah, right? Xperia phone. You know, yeah, look at that. I remember that thing. How'd that do, right? This stuff's been around for so long, and this is native gameplay. Like, you've been, like, come on. Like, you know what? This stuff's been around. Seriously. That's why not only it's such an uphill battle, and that's why I the reason why it grinds my gears about this whole XCloud and stuff. And if it does well, you know what? Who knows? I've done some streaming stuff. It's not something I want to do regularly. It's a trick. It's like, oh, it works. Okay, fine. Turn it off. I'm not playing like this. Because as soon as the game lags, as soon as the game has some artifacting, you realize that you're playing it over the internet. And it takes you out of the game. It really does. But the thing is, and the reason why it grinds my gears is because this is the reason. This is their pivoting. So they basically, abandoned the console because it wasn't selling. Instead of doubling down and trying to rebuild the trust and the console that they did in the 360 era, they had just abandoned it, said, you know what, fuck it, lost cause. Just keep making a console. Let's explore our options on PC, on phones, on streaming, and call it a day. The console people will just pander to them, give them another console, and you know what, they'll whoever stays around, but hopefully they shift to PC or they shift to play on their phone. Fine. And they're subscribing to our service. Those Engage, oh my god, really? The Engage? Jesus. And that's right, and that's the other problem with it. Captain Crunch says, they'll mold their new games for it. Of course they will. Their games will be made. That's why you think the service model exists. Like, why do you think they're going for a service model? The reason why is because they're catering to people on the phones who are familiar with that. A free game, and they pay a service or microtransactions or in-game, in-app purchases. That's why this whole in-app purchase thing is a deal breaker a lot for Apple, because that's where Microsoft wants to do it. They want those people to get these games for a low entry cost because they'll be more willing to spend on microtransactions. It's the same reason why I remember I used to work at Circuit City, and the biggest thing was not just selling the main as a salesperson, not just selling the item. Though you failed as a salesperson if I sold cameras and PCs, even TVs. I sold everything in Circuit City. The bad you were a bad salesperson if you just sold the device. If I just sold you the camera and you left the store with the camera, I didn't do my job. If I just sold you the TV and you just left with the TV, I didn't do my job. If you just walked out with a PC, I didn't do my job. Because you want to know why? And as a person who got discounts, yeah, I know, rest in peace, Paul went out. Circuit City sales, man, that was the best time of I loved it, man. We used to stay late and play on the plasma TVs. I used to bring my Xbox there, and we used to I remember playing Tao Fang until like 1 o'clock in the morning after hours at Circuit City with the staff. We plugged in the Xbox to the plasma TVs because the plasma TVs were just coming out. And, these big TVs, and, it was the shift. And to play games on those flat screens was like, holy crap, let's do this. And I would bring it up and hook it up to the demo station because we had like a sample theater room that we would demo all the best equipment. And I brought my Xbox into work, and we would play. I remember playing Tao Fang. It was crazy, man. Those were the days. Hey, thank you, Mark Woodland. Thank you for hitting the like button, share the video out. Hopefully you can catch the rest of it on the replay. But the thing is that you failed as a salesperson if you just sold a device. You had to sell the accessories. And knowing it, Radio Shack too. That's right, Pug. And speaking of accessories, that's how Radio Shack survived. Radio Shack survived on selling accessories because accessories had a huge markup. A USB cable, I would get it at cost for like $9, but it'll be sold for $29.99. The markup was insane on accessories. HDMI cables or composite cables at the time, component cables, memory cards for cameras, printers, all that stuff was accessories and had markup, but they wanted you to sell that stuff with the device. Get that printer, give them a camera bag, which is more $20, but our cost is $2, and they wanted the accessories. So the device, you sell the accessories to make money. This is the same situation. Get them into the game for a low cost, just like Fortnite, for free, or for like $10 a month, so they didn't feel like they spent $60 and then they got to spend more money on top of that. Get them to spend $10, and now they're more willing to probably drop a 10 or a 20 or a 5 on these games to play. And now, guess what? We're not eating the development costs because we already put the game out there. Now we're just paying for maintenance servers and maintaining content. Like, for Fortnite, you know what? I bet you to launch Fortnite Battle Royale, they probably had like 200 people. Now, maybe they got half that just to develop assets for the game. It's just low maintenance. Just same thing with Minecraft. Like, the whole team, when we launched Minecraft, we had this many people. But now, since we launched it, just like Halo, why do you think they're using all those contractors? You want to know why? Because guess what? When Halo ships, sayonara, contractors, we don't need you anymore. Give me a skeleton crew, about 100 people, and those 100 people will be making content for the next 3 years for Halo Infinite. You start drawing up guns that we need to put in the game. You start looking at mountains and trees. You make forge objects, and it's all maintenance because you got over the hump of getting the game out there. So that's what they're doing. Let's get the hump out there, get it out there, low cost for Game Pass. Now we have microtransactions, season passes, all that stuff. And they make more money on it because the development cost of that stuff is not as expensive as developing a whole game from scratch. That's why they say, hey, this is a 10-year plan. Because you want to know why? They would have to, it's costly for Sony to be like, hey, Last of Us 1, Last of Us 2, Spider-Man 2. Like, yes, you have the assets, but you're making a whole game. Microsoft's not in that business anymore. Microsoft's in the business of making a platform of a game, and then we'll just inject content to it. The mobile model, that's what it is, the mobile model. And that's why they're bringing their shit to phones. Because those people are familiar with that structure, and he's hoping those people will eat this stuff up. The problem that Phil and Satya don't realize is that a PC gamer, a console gamer, and a mobile gamer are different people with different needs and different experiences with games. A mobile gamer may be playing Panda Pop and playing maybe a Fortnite with touch control. That person might not adapt well to, a console. PC guys want performance and stuff like that. But if your game is compromised because it has to run on weak consoles or mobile or stream effectively on mobile phones, you know what? Maybe that's why Halo looks the way it is. Maybe they don't want too much stuff on the screen. Go look at Halo 5, right? And this is speculation, but it comes up, right? I'll get to you, Azil, Azil Black. Hold on a second. Let me finish this point. You look at like Halo 5. Now, and I think who said this? The games will be made as such. I think it was a Pug Channel, right? A Pug Channel. Oh, Captain Crunch said it. Captain Crunch said it. They'll mold their new games. So, Captain Crunch, hear this, right? Hear this out. Wow, 45 guys, hit that like button again. Yo, we got 45 grinders in here, man. Over 50 before. It was like crazy. Yes, Marco doing master of trades, jack of all trades, master of none. But just going along those lines, like look at Halo 5 and look how much stuff was going on, right? So much stuff. Yo, Jemiah, how you doing? They had so much stuff going on in Halo 5. But look at Halo Infinite. It's simpler. It's flatter. It looked like less stuff going on. It's more open world and exploratory. Maybe because it's intended to be played on a phone. So not only they could hit high frame rates, as Eyes of War says, welcome Eyes of War, how you doing? It looks like, it looks the way it does, maybe because it's trying to get the higher frame rates, but maybe it's more simplistic because they know that this is a scalable game, and maybe they want this to look decent on a 5-inch phone, that, you can't have all this artifacts and all this craziness because you have a small phone that you're playing on. You need more of this kind of clean look, but the clean look also gives you higher frame rates. So maybe they're going more simplistic with their games in their visionary, not having all this crazy stuff go on, because thinking about trying to put that on a small screen. You never know. But the thing is that it's going backwards. When we have new generations and new technology, we want the most stuff going on, the closest thing to realism and to action and just fire effects. And like just playing Last of Us 2 and looking at the fire effects and it's just amazing. And you just want to get better from there. That you're playing this going like, oh my God, they did this on 4 teraflops of power and on a device that's from 2013. The Last of Us 2 looks like this. Ghost of Tsushima looks like this. And now, thank you for subscribing. Azil, thank you. Azal, I'm sorry I've said your name wrong. But it's going backwards. I'm playing these games, like, I can't wait to see what they do with the PlayStation 5. And then you look at Xbox and it's like going backwards. It's like, why are the games looking worse as we end the generation than what we started with? We started with Rise and we're ending with Halo Infinite with original assets. Like, I don't get it. We're going backwards. Simplistic graphics. Like, it's like, oh, what's going on here? Even Gears looked great, but then when they did that open world Gears part, it was just like it was dead empty world. Yeah, right? That's right. Particle effects require balance not to pollute the screen. I was going to get back to Azil said. Great mac and cheeses are really... So Azil says, what did he go back to? He says that, do you think that Sony should follow Microsoft but without the microtransactions? And also 40 years old. Yeah, thank you. The thing is... That's right, Aizawa. That's right. Looking at Ghost of Tsushima and then going to Halo Infinite looks unacceptable. Going from, those games spoiled me. Looking at Last of Us animations and then looking at Craig not even reacting to a elbow or nobody reacting to a hook shot. The potato salad's dry. That's funny. So, the thing is that I don't think that Sony should follow Microsoft. I think Sony has its way of doing things, and right now it's giving us some amazing experiences in games, and I think they know that. I do think that Sony has enough awareness and technology and and they know. I just feel that Sony knows how to manage their studios and curate content for their consumers. They're Sony people that play on PlayStation Now, that play on PlayStation Plus, that play on the console. Sony knows what their fans want. And I think they use that as a bridge to grow. Because look, if console sales didn't expand during this generation, and consoles were kind of on the tail end, they're like, you know what, consoles were at an all-time low, and you know what, people are not playing on consoles like they used to, I would say that Sony would need to pivot. Same thing for Nintendo. But Sony did just trying to repeat the PlayStation 2. Nintendo outsold Xbox in half the years that it took Xbox to get to its number. The Switch and the PlayStation are doing huge numbers in console sales, showing that the console's still relevant. Yeah, I would like to get an upgraded Switch. Definitely. But the consoles are doing amazingly. Xbox is the one that struggled this generation. That's why they're pivoting. And their whole company is pivoting to more of a cloud service. They made Office a service. They made, the operating system a service. So it's just they're trying to make their games a service. And all of it is structured and based off of the cloud. That's the whole point of it. Make it a service and build it based on the cloud. The cloud is the backbone of their company. The problem is that they lack the content in the gaming space to make their platform worthwhile. That's why they're trying to They're trying to sell you a burger with shit ingredients. It's like, we took the worst meat, we took the worst bread and the worst cheese, but I want to open up a burger joint. No, you should invest in the best quality food so that when you open up the burger joint, people come there and want to come there. Desirable. That's the problem. You're not desirable. Your content is not desirable. And even the Halo, when that was your opportunity, didn't show well to be desirable. Nobody ran and said, I am subscribing for that. I can't wait to play that. Wow, that's only $60. Wow, that's only a $10 game. I can't believe the content and quality that they're bringing. That's the kind of stuff that you need to say. Instead, it's meh. It's in Game Pass. I'll try it. I'll try it on my phone. I'll get some Pop-Tarts. That's not how you launch a service. Like I said before, Fortnite was the backbone to Epic. By putting Fortnite, they know everybody's coming for Fortnite. Well, guess what? We'll put Fortnite in our Epic store. Put Fortnite in the Epic store. That is your doorbuster. People come in, and now they stay and they shop around going, oh, what else does this Epic store have? And they grabbed up a bunch of exclusive games, and you came for Fortnite, and look, oh, wow, they got these games launching in here, and you're looking around. You got the doorbuster. Imagine if Epic Store came out and was like, hey, we'll open up a store. And I'm like, what games? What are you going to do? Unreal Tournament again? Yeah. They would have got they don't have Gears. Unreal Tournament, I guess. People will be like, well, that store wouldn't do well. No, they use the doorbuster of Fortnite. They had content that people wanted. They had the traffic driver. Yo, what's up, Cali? They had the traffic driver with Fortnite. That gave them the leverage and probably the money to open up an Epic store. Microsoft needs those games and content as leverage. You want to know what? Maybe Apple would change their stuff. If Microsoft had a banger of a thing, like, say Microsoft had a Fortnite-esque game or a game that just was like you had to play. Maybe Apple's willing to negotiate. Like, you know what? Maybe we will, because that game that you have or that game is so hot right now, that will draw a lot of people to Apple products. Because everybody's thinking about themselves. It's a business. But when you come around and you're shopping with shit ingredients going, well, I got Grounded, Halo, which has a big meme out there. You might have heard of him as Craig. We also had the Bleeding Edge. About 17 people are playing it right now online. We also have Sea of Thieves, which scored a 68, but now 4 years later, people deciding to play it right now, and it's actually better. Gears 5, which was a huge hit, but, we lost our guy who actually made the game. And, you're trying to shop around the service with shit-ass content. Now, Sony walked around and had all their games in their day one. Think about it. They go to Apple and Samsung. God of War. You want it? Oh, shit. What? You can play God of War on an iPad? Apple be like, you know what? Fuck our policies. Let's go. Get over here. Spider-Man? You want Spider-Man? Google be like, oh, you know what? I will waive that fucking fee. Get in here. I want Spider-Man. See? Or what about if Nintendo came over? The next Link's Zelda, Breath of the Wild 2. We would like to put it in the Apple Store through our Nintendo streaming service and all our other legacy, Smash Brothers and everything like that through our streaming service. Apple, would you like this Nintendo streaming service? What is Apple going to say? No, we don't want Smash Brothers on. Yeah, right. There's probably a lot more negotiation going on because that's content that will drive traffic. It just makes sense. You have more leverage. You sit here and wonder why Sony gets all these exclusives and gets this stuff. It's because they're the top console seller. It's because they got the leverage. It's all the leverage that the 360 had over the PlayStation 3 to get that content exclusively, to kind of get the Beatles on stage and rock band songs, and because they were the market leader in development, and actually they had the leverage and they were willing to use that flex to get the content on their platform. GTA. You think that Rockstar will come out right now and go, we're going to make GTA 6 exclusive content just for Xbox? No way. They'll probably have to pay like triple what they paid before. Because they're going to be like, well, you have less consoles, plus, we can. Because you need it. Sony's like, well, we're the lead platform console. You want 110 million people? That's a powerful number. That's a big leverage taker. They have 113 million consoles out there, and Xbox has maybe 50. It is more than double. Do you know the leverage that Sony has when they go to a developer going, we're basically over like about 70%, 60-something percent of the console market. We're a major contributor to the console market. Do you want to put it on there? And that's why they go, yeah, sure. Oh, we'll put it on Switch too. That's the other one. Xbox is sitting there with maybe 30, 40% of the console market. Meanwhile, Sony and Nintendo, the other 70. So when you come over there, a developer's like, I'm making a game. It's like, well, do you want 115 people? 115 million? One version? Sure. Microsoft's like, well, we got 40 million consoles out there, but we also have 1 billion PCs. Yeah, but I really don't want to make a PC version and a console version. You should. We have so many people. That's the problem. If you want to do that, then you're multi-platform. Then you got to make PC and console. Where Sony's offering you 115 million consoles right now. And all you got to do is develop for a console. That's it. Oh, great. I don't have enough resources to put on PC too. You don't have to. You got 110 million people. See, that's leverage. And that's one thing that Phil's not shopping around with right now. That content in Game Pass is weak. So he's basically shopping around with blanks. Like, it's like, oh yeah, nobody's going to bend their policies or do that stuff for that content. That's why he should have made desirable content first. You satisfy your core audience. Plus, you make yourself the talk of the town. So now when you go shop around to Apple and to Samsung, now all of a sudden they're like, oh shit, you got a lot to offer right now. Like, what's Phil putting on the table? Well, we got Grounded. And it's like, oh, shit. Well, we have Halo coming. And they're like, well, Halo didn't have a great... The internet... The response to Halo was not that great. It's like, Oh, wow. Isaac says Spider-Man is not the only exclusive character for the Marvel's Avengers game. Sony's going to flex, man. That's what they're going to do. Shout out to the over 50 people watching. Guys, hit that like button. Share out the video. And, and also follow my man, Cali Rex. He's going to start a YouTube channel, too. He's like one of the OG grinders. He was here from the beginning. A couple years ago, Cali Rex. So, yeah, definitely, follow him. He's going to be doing he's starting up a YouTube podcast. But, Craig the Brute's going to be in Marvel's Avengers. Yeah. But the thing is that competition, they all view Microsoft as competition. That's why they needed leverage. That's right, Glorious Kev. Only 40 likes, 54 people watching. Come on now. Hit that like button, God damn it. This is Glorious Kev's by request show. He wanted it. He wanted to hear how Phil Ness is just coming crashing down because he's shopping with blanks. And he's trying to roast marshmallows, and nobody wants to roast marshmallows with Phil Ness. They don't. He sees Amazon and Google as competition. Well, guess what? They see you as competition. No problem, Callie. That's the problem. That's why when people are like, well, Phil's great. He's so nice. He's he put his games on other he gave Nintendo Banjo. So nice. He's such a great guy. You see Mario, Zelda, Luigi, anybody stepping foot on an Xbox? No. What the fuck was that? A one-way ticket, Phil? Nintendo's not putting their IP on your platform. Hell, they even have Nintendo characters, Super Mario World, in Minecraft, only on Nintendo Switch version, which is the version that I have. That's the reason why I got it, so you could play as the Mario characters in Minecraft. My son wanted to do that. Guess what? They're not on the Xbox version. But you know what, Glorious, the one thing, though, I have to say is, like, we understand that PC, they do have a vested interest, maybe selling operating systems or promoting PC gaming and stuff like that. So putting the games on PC, yes, it took away from their console the desire for it, but it makes sense. But putting Banjo and Smash Brothers on the Switch and not getting repercussions and not getting anything back from that, like, what's the deal? Phil's given out all his IP like that, but nobody's repaying him. And now when it comes time for him to try to shop his service around, people are shutting doors down left and right. Google's like, well, we got policy to take some of your money. Apple's like, well, we don't do peer to cloud streaming right now. And both of them are trying to push a Game Pass themselves. $5 a month for Google, $5 a month for Apple. Like, they got their own kind of gaming thing. Why would they want to put a service that could compete with the Apple's like, well, we're offering the Apple, even especially Apple, who's trying to offer console-like experiences in a mobile fashion. Their Apple games are actually pretty, some of them are pretty high, like pretty damn good quality. So they're trying to merge that with their Apple TV and kind of create their own ecosystem of gaming. Why would they put why would they put Xbox in there to bring you like kind of quote-unquote real games that could say, hey, I'm canceling that Apple subscription. I'm going to do this Xbox subscription because I can play the latest Halo. You know what I mean? So Apple's protecting themselves. But this is what happens when you are a virus. You have no host. Your host is your competition. So you got to play hardball too. And you got to do that by making great games that people want to come to play with. That's why when you say your content hasn't been good for the last 3 years, that's not good. Because you're shopping a service based off of that content. He thinks people are just going to buy his service just because he comes up to them with a smile? No. Gamers go for games. If you don't have games that people want, and I'm not talking about just like Xbox has games. I'm talking about quality games. Desirable. That's the biggest thing. Desirable. It was something that came up. I think. Shout out to Chris Righteous. Who's on playing Xbox. But like, he was. They were discussing something, and they were saying like about like this whole exclusivity, right? Scorn and Medium and stuff like. Oh well, Xbox is doing exclusives too. But the Spider-Man thing shakes the world. The Final Fantasy VII thing shakes the world. The thing is that, and also Sony got Bethesda in their pocket, making exclusive games for the place. Sony's going after a higher tier and a more noteworthy exclusive content and games. Microsoft, Phil is shopping, I said, on page 7 of Steam sales to bring content exclusively to their platform. Sony's making more waves with their moves. And that's the problem that Phil has. Like, Phil is not getting the big deals. I don't know if he's restricted due to, yes, that's right, Game Night. Final Fantasy 16 rumored to have exclusivity of PlayStation 5. I'm sorry, Mr. Modern. Sorry to break it down to you, but Grounded doesn't shake the world. You might be small, but you're not shaking the world. But Sony's making the moves that are impactful. Even as shitty as that Predator game was, it's a fucking Predator game. Who got a Predator game? Like, it's a Predator game with like, you know what I mean? The concept is there. Just like how shitty their previous game was with Friday the 13th. It's a Friday the 13th game. Like, there's not a lot of those. The NES was like the original one. And the Predator game where you run around the Predator, yeah, there's not a lot of those. But still, it's something like, oh, Predator, wow, I'm interested just because it's Predator. It may not have been a great game, like a 60 or whatever, 50-something, whatever the hell got rated, but, I like it. It's not bad. It's not trash, but the thing is that it's Predator. I would never bought it if it wasn't. But the thing is, it's like, it makes noise. A Predator game only on PlayStation and PC? What? Why is it not coming to the other consoles? It's still... It's curious. Iron Man VR, like Sony is shopping at they're shopping at like, Abercrombie, and Phil's shopping at goddamn Goodwill. So it's not going to be, you got to curate quality content in that pass. Now, the thing is that for a box of Pop-Tarts, would you get a Days Gone or a Last of Us 2 in Game Pass day one? I don't think so. I don't think so. Would you get a game that's episodic, that gets shipped content, maybe at the end of it's a complete game? Yeah, maybe. Maybe a small game, like an 8 to 10 hour kind of Hellblade? Yeah. A good looking game, but it's not going to be this open world Hellblade, let's open budget, Days Gone Hellblade. No, I think it's going to be similar. Maybe with a couple more decision trees, but it's going to be a focused game, like a smaller game. Maybe Hellblade is $30, $40 maybe. I don't know. But, these are the kind of things you got to say, what does this Game Pass subscription yield? Is Fable going to be an MMO? Because they got to get a service into that thing. They can't just say, hey, 200-hour game in Game Pass Fable day one. Enjoy. It took us 4 years, 5 years to make it. It took, a huge budget, and we're giving it to you for $1. Or you could play it for a pack of chewing gum right now. I don't think so. That's why Sony needs to stay the course on what they're doing, because they know that they're doing something that not their competition's doing, and it's giving them a huge advantage. And look at that. And the thing is that people go, oh, I don't have the money to afford all these games. The thing is that you do if it's something you really want. You'll find the money. You'll do the stuff. If it's something that you really, really, really want, you'll find a way to get it. The problem is that Microsoft in the last 4 years hasn't really shown you something that you really wanted. That's why you're okay with just waiting for it to be in Game Pass or just waiting around, because you probably would never purchase that game anyway. You probably would have waited for its sale. That's the issue. Hey, it's up sick. But it's the truth. You wouldn't pay for that stuff. Like I said, the people stay with the Game Pass and XCloud. And this thing is not even buying it, but also playing it. I showed you the big controller with the strap on and the phone. Are you really bringing that stuff around to play a game that you never even bought? I wasn't really interested in Bleeding Edge. It's in Game Pass. So is that a reason to bring that big ass controller with the clip strap on thing and your phone because you must play that game while you're taking a dump somewhere in a public restroom? You're not going to. Oh, but wait. Last of Us 2, though, I'm thinking about that game when I'm not playing it. I'm thinking about Ghost of Tsushima, what mission I'm going to do next when I'm not playing it. God of War, I wanted to see where that went. When you think about a game when you're not playing it, those are the kind of games that saying, you know what? Oh man, I gotta go on vacation now. I want to play that game because I want to see where it goes. Or I want to level up my guy because I want that extra ability. Or I want to find that secret. See? Now you go, and you want to know what? That was the stuff that drove me to bring my goddamn Xbox console when I traveled. Because there were games that I had to play. I didn't want to miss out. Yo, man, we're getting on Halo 2. Oh, shit, I got to go on a business trip. I bought a fucking backpack for my Xbox OG, and I would bring it to me to the hotel room and hook up onto their bullshit. You want to hear something crazy? I'm going to tell you a grind story. Get a fucking cup of hot chocolate, because I'm going to tell you a goddamn grind story. Halo 3. I went to the midnight launch. I think I was traveling. I don't know. Was I in Indianapolis or was I in Penn State? I was over for work. I brought my fucking Xbox OG with me. So this thing, wait, this is Halo. Was it the 360? It was a 360. So it was Halo 3. I brought my Xbox because I had a backpack for both of them. My 360. That's a massive backpack. You're right. It was. I did have it. I don't know, Kuhn, if you had it either, but I had that Xbox OG backpack, and I had the Halo 3 Xbox 360 backpack. Right? I bought Halo 3. I went to the midnight launch in, I think, Penn State or where I was on the business trip. I would go to the GameStops where I would land for work, and I would pre-order that thing that night so that I could be at the midnight launch. I would always cross my fingers because at the time, I didn't know if these hotels were going to have proper TVs to hook up. Some of them had RF cables. Goddamn RF cables, everybody. So I couldn't deal with that. And I didn't want to risk bringing my console, buying Halo 3 at midnight, and going to the hotel and realize that I could not hook up my Xbox. So you know what I did? I brought my Xbox. I brought my 19-inch flat screen computer monitor. And I picked up Halo 3 at midnight. And I played on the goddamn Halo, the hotel Wi-Fi co-op, and completed Halo 3 that night on the hotel. Why would I go through that shit? Would I have done that to say I gotta play Grounded? I gotta play. No, because that was a gotta play game. I couldn't miss out. I was so eager to play that. I had to play it at the shittiest experience that I had. It lagged the whole time, and I remember the guys yelling, "Why is this game lagging so bad?" But that's how I beat the campaign for the first time. Was Halo 3 was lagging on a goddamn thing. And I remember when he crash landed on that planet, I went to bed that night and I was thinking, where's this going to go? What's going to happen? Oh my God, I can't. That was the glory days of video games. Is that what Fatal Manifesto does? Oh no, what happened? What did Pug Channel do? I must have hit the wrong thing. Sorry, Pug. But yeah, hit that like button. I got one more story for you. So that's what you do when there's a desirable game or desirable content. You will go out as a gamer and do anything you can. Bring controllers, bring a console, bring goddamn flat screen TVs to play that game. That's why content is king. And that's why when he talks about streaming to phones and stuff, you got to make games that people want to play. But when they're just meh, they're in Game Pass, I need to check them out. Those are not games that people are going to bring controllers and clips and all that other stuff to play because they're going to be like, there's nothing I want to play right now. The second thing is, he's trying to do an all-for-one gaming thing. Games are different than music and movies. Games have UIs on them. And games are designed for a specific experience. They're meant to be played on a TV, on a computer monitor, keyboard, mouse, on controllers. They're not really designed for a phone. That's why there are mobile games. That's why we distinctly say mobile games. Swiping, casual, click, tap, rub, shake. That's what a mobile game is. Yes, there's some games that are trying to cross over the console games, but not all of them, and they got to work very effectively. But that's not a majority of your mobile games. All of them are swipes and ups, because they're easy to do one-handed and stuff like that. That's why when I say Gears 5 on a 5-inch screen, the UI, the reticle, what are they doing? Try to hit your active reload on a 5-inch screen and think that you're going to have a good competitive experience or a good experience with Gears 5 playing on a cell phone screen. Heaven forbid you got to use the touch screen because you didn't bring your controller with the strap on. They have a UI. And let's try to hit that little reload thing on a 5-inch screen. Another story. I traveled to Houston, Texas. I brought my Xbox 360. Was it my 360? Shit, I keep forgetting. Mass Effect 2. Was that 360? I think it was, yes. It was Mass Effect 2. Went to midnight launch for Mass Effect 2. Plus the streaming lag, nonetheless. Thank you, Devil Shooter. That's the other caveat, too. I went to play Mass Effect 2, right? Went there, GameStop, pre-ordered it, went to the midnight launch. I've been to like every GameStop in Best Buy in this goddamn country. Went to the midnight launch at GameStop, pre-ordered it, brought it back. Friggin' hotel had RF cables. I'm like, oh shit, that's the worst, because that is like the worst connection. That's the coaxial cable, which I had to buy one for $9.99 from GameStop to hook it up to the TV screen. Because I couldn't leave without my Xbox. I had to be connected. I had to connect to my friends on whatever Wi-Fi, and I had to play these games. I could not miss the Mass Effect 2. Like, I was hyped for Mass Effect 2. I remember booting up Mass Effect 2. I had to hook it up through an RF cable. Now, some friggin' hotels had the goddamn plastic protector on it that you couldn't unhook from the TV. This hotel had that. So I went to a fucking Macy's hardware store in the mall, bought pliers, and went and unhooked the coaxial cable, untwisted it with its, because it had a protector that you couldn't just untwist it, and pulled it off, and then returned the pliers to the store. So it didn't work. I know, right, Buck Roger? These midnight launches. But I did all this to play Mass Effect 2. I hook up Mass Effect 2, midnight launch. What's up, guys? Code, how you doing? And I put it on. And the first scene, you remember, it's like him in the crashed ship, right? He loses his ship in the beginning. The Normandy. And you have to, like, go through the fire and stuff like that. Well, because I'm using an RF cable, it's making this ungodly noise. And for you young people, you really don't know, but like it made this huge ass like fuzzy buzz bullshit for the brightness on the screen. It's the worst. RF coaxial gaming was goddamn horrible. Put the thing on channel 3 and play. Oh my god. But this is the shit that I had to do, and they still made them. $10 for that thing that I only used when I was traveling, because these hotels did not have those kind of TVs, HDMI TVs. So, I would pray for composite, but the component cables, that was incredible. But the composite, Jesus. And I'll hope that they didn't have it all blocked off, because I would just unhook all their pay-per-view systems. I would unhook it all. And then I put it in there, and it was like, bzz. I stopped, and I'm like, wow, this shit looks so awesome. But it's not meant to be played like this. So I played probably about a 15 minutes of it and be like, no, I got to experience this on my TV screen at home with my component cables. I got to experience this on a better fidelity, because this RF thing, I could play the game like this, but this is not the way it's meant to be played. It's meant to be played with a clean connection and on a bigger TV, not on a 27-inch tube TV with RF connection. And the thing is that even though I could play it, just like I say, even though you could play on your phone, is that the experience that you want? No. These games are meant to be played at their best on their native consoles or their native PC. So you wouldn't trade off your phone for the console. But the thing is that these games are not being designed for that phone. They're being designed for the console, for PC, and they just happen to be playable on the phone. So just because Mass Effect 2 just happened to be playable on that TV, it wasn't the right experience for that game. Likewise, playing Gears 5 on a 5-inch screen, that's not the way that game is meant to be played. Now, add the fact that I got to bring accessories with me when I might want to play this. That's the whole point of the Switch. And like, you just pull the Switch out and you're able to play, you know? And natively, don't have to worry about internet connections. You're good to go. This, you got to bring a full controller with a clip, hook your phone up. Hopefully your battery doesn't get drained. So maybe you have to hook, and then they recommend hooking it up through another cable for your USB-C to USB-C connection, a wired connection, because the Bluetooth might have some latency in it. So yeah, now you have a wire with a contraption, and you think, I swear, you're gonna look like fucking RoboCop to play a game that's really not meant to be played on that phone, to stream it over the internet. I just don't see the appeal of this, especially with the phone market being as crazy as it is with these game passes and games built for phones. Those phone games now are pretty damn polished. They're not what they used to be. It's not like Snake and fucking blocks like Tetris now. Now they're pretty. They got soundtracks. They got the graphics. The mobile games are there now. Exactly, Devil. Just buy a Switch. Plus, the Switch gives you access to games that you can't play anywhere else. So this whole push for XCloud, there's the two big problems. And just to wrap up the whole thought of it is that Phil needs his competition to be successful. And they're going to squash him as soon as XCloud, if it ever gets popular. They'll squash it. They'll put it on the back page. Apple will say its policies. They'll change them. Microsoft's at the mercy of their competition. Just because Microsoft decided to go open platform, everybody knows where they came from. You never forget where you came from. That's why I always remind myself I do these things. This is why it grinds my gears still. People are like, well, why you keep talking about it? Because I came from Xbox. I saw what they were. I was invested. I bought PCs and TVs and all these things and Windows computers and Surface devices. I pre-ordered the Surface 8, the first one. I was in bed with all this stuff, Groove and Office, and I had everything because I wanted it all to work together. Windows Phone, the Nokias. I bought 3 of them. I had the white one, I had the big red one, the 5160. I liked the Windows Phone, but they didn't have the apps. They had no compatibility. If you wanted a smart home, you couldn't use a Windows Phone. They didn't have a fucking Spotify app. You couldn't even listen to music. You had to use Groove Music because that was the only music service that was available. That was full, and even that wasn't even fully featured. You couldn't even look at you couldn't stream. It was really poorly implemented, but that was the only one that was available. And they failed with the Windows Phone. They said Cortana. They failed with Cortana. They said Connect. I beta tested Connect. You never forget where you come from. That's why it hurts so much to see the fall. This tragic hero, just their pivot and their fall, because this is not what they were. They spent billions of dollars and years of trying to validate themselves to be a console platform, to compete with the legacy of Nintendo, the legacy of Sony. They spent money on top of money making the Xbox Live brand a brand. 1 versus 100. Xbox Live Arcade. Xbox Retro games and the Retro Arcade with your avatars and your friends list and the community and your Xbox Live card that gave me $5 discounts to goddamn fucking Quiznos with my gamer tag. It was a membership. It was a club. It was a premium service. It was all tied around gaming and playing games. That's right. That 920 was good. I had the 920 and then I had the 1560. That's right. And exactly, they have the YouTube app. That's right, Brian V. They even have the YouTube app. But that's the thing. Like, you gotta know it. They did all this to be something. Even this generation, like I could see if they started this generation going, nah, we're not competing with Sony anymore. No, they were going at Sony. They had the games. They got Tomb Raider and Titanfall, and they made the moves. They partnered with everybody, the NFL, the NBA, NHL, TV content, Snap, and they went out. And then it didn't work out. Ballmer left, and Satya took over, and Satya wasn't a gamer. He didn't see the value in this game. Why we spend so much money on this? Just make us a service and put us on everything like Netflix. The problem is that Netflix never started as a console. Netflix wasn't a box. That's why Netflix won. The fact that Netflix beat Blockbuster is because Netflix never had any stores. And look what happened. Blockbuster tried to pivot and become a Netflix. And guess what? What happened? It failed. It was a brick and mortar rental store and tried to go the Netflix route. Like, we'll just compete with them. We'll do a subscription in store and we can have a mail order. That's all they're doing is mail order movies. But people associated them with the hardware, with the console, with the store. It was hard for Blockbuster to pivot. Netflix didn't have a store. They were already in the cloud. They were already agnostic. They didn't have any hardware. That's why for Microsoft, they are the Blockbuster, trying to become the Netflix. But you want to know what? Netflix already exists. It's called Google. It's called Amazon. They're already in the cloud. Amazon got rid of their stores, and now Microsoft got rid of their stores because Microsoft's trying to turn into an Amazon. You can't pivot. Google and Amazon never started with stores. They never had a console. So they could easily go right to the cloud and image is not tarnished. You had a fan base. You have a legacy. You built hardware to play games. And for you to be like, well, the hardware is not important now. Now it's about the cloud. It's not going to work. Just like with Blockbuster. You had an identity and now you're abandoning that identity for something else. That's a hard sell. That's why Nintendo and Sony are just doubling down on the hardware because they're holding their ground. And when the time comes, and guess what, guys? Retail stores are not where it's at anymore. What's going to happen? Now Nintendo and Sony flip the script, and they go, yeah, we're going to go to the cloud too. Well, guess what? Nintendo and Sony goes to the cloud with, what did I say in the last show? All that IP. All games that people want to play. Hey, Apple, you want to play God of War 1, 2, and 3 from the PlayStation 5? Hey, Apple, you want Spider-Man? Apple's like, what were those policies again? And they look the other way. You're damn right. We want Spider-Man because that'll be more people buy iPhones. Boom. Because they got desirable content. Hey, Nintendo, you want the Breath Awakening 5? Hey, Google, you want Breath Awakening 5 exclusively on the Play Store? Oh, shit. Yeah, let's go. What's Phil going to do? Yeah, you want Sea of Thieves? Fuck out of here with your Sea of Thieves shit. Yeah, we got policies. We're not changing our policy for Sea of Thieves. You can't be shopping around with blanks. And what Phil needed to do was build on the what. And that's what I said. Where, Phil? On Samsung phones. How, Phil? With the controller and the strap-on. When, Phil? This September. Where, Phil? On all Samsung. I think I said the where. Where, Phil? On the Samsung phones. On Xbox. Why? Because it's part of your subscription. And now comes the big question. Hey, Phil, what are we going to play? Phil, I have a question. What are we going to play?
Hum na hum na hum na hum.
What was that?
Hum na hum na hum na hum.
You mean great games? You're showing your face around telling me how am I going to play my games? Where am I going to play my games? When am I going to play my games in the cloud? But what am I going to play? Is there anything what am I going to play? Show me the great games. Phil?
Good riddance to bad rubbish.
What?
What the fuck?
Yeah. Phil turned into goddamn Ralph fucking Cramden when you ask Phil about the games. I'm happy about the games I didn't show you. Hey, Phil, how are those games coming?
Means when I think about Xbox, I'm going to think about quality games. We have work to do there. We haven't done our best work over the last few years.
Last few years. Not last month. Last few years. That's the problem. Phil doesn't have the what. Sony got the what. Sony, what would I play on your service? Spider-Man, God of War, Last of Us 2, Uncharted, Horizon Zero Dawn 2. Oh, shit. Oh, whoa. Nintendo, what would I play on your service? Mario, Zelda, Kirby, Luigi, Smash Brothers. Holy shit. Like, yeah, there you go. Wow. Sign me up for that. Yeah, Brian V, you know what? The thing about this Avengers thing, I'll just end on the Avengers stuff. The thing about the Avengers thing is that I think this game is, first of all, it looks all right. I'm not saying it looks like the Avengers game that I would dreamed of. Like, it kind of looks like a bunch of just missions with the characters, and there is some sort of story. I think the Spider-Man thing is going to be a bunch of kind of like, just like Avengers missions. And maybe you could use him in some of, like, the revisited missions and stuff like that. Or maybe he'll have, like, a little story, like an intro story, which has, like, a new map or something like that he goes on to. But he's not part of the original story. The original story is with that girl that is basically, she's a fan and the Avengers come save her. Like, that's going to be your narrative. Just like Destiny 2, had that little story that you went through and stuff like that. And then they added on those expansion ones. And I think Spider-Man will probably come with, like, a bunch of kind of, like, covert missions. And then he'll have, like, a new map or just a couple, like, maybe a narrative. And you could level them up that way or something like that. Like, I'm excited for Spider-Man in there because Spider-Man in games is great. And, I'm probably going to get it now. Like, that I'm interested in it with, if they're going to keep adding characters to it and they're going to be free or if, I don't know. We're going to have to see. But I'm going to wait to see what the beta's like. Because it does look kind of cool, and if it's co-op and just going around as superheroes and just destroying things, it looks pretty cool. But people are just upset because, they think that Spider-Man's being held hostage. And you know what? The thing is that Sony's flexing. Sony's giving value to their platform, something that Xbox has been criticized for not doing. They have not given value to their Xbox, their Series X, their X, their Xbox One. They haven't. They've been putting games on PC that are exclusively, not any reason why they don't function on Xbox. They touted keyboard and mouse support on the console for 2 fucking years, and then a game comes out with keyboard and mouse support, and they go, not for you. But why? We're working on control support. Yeah, but you have consoles. You have keyboard and mouse support on. Why is Gears Tactics not day and date? I don't know, just because they don't want to. They want the PC guys to feel special. Okay, fine. Console guys, what do you get? Free to play Smilegate. What? That's the problem. He abandoned the core audience that they spent so much time on building that community. They abandoned them and not giving them what they wanted. Great, amazing games and new IP and great franchises, revisited, remasters, just all the good stuff. Instead, they pacified their core audience by just refeeding them the same old-ass games through backwards compatibility. They just pandered to them and pacified them. And they kind of were like that old dude on a corner of a road that just tells you all about the good old days. Hey, what about the good old days? Well, what can I do right now? Well, I remember when this was like, we used to do this and this and this. And that's what Phil has been trying to do. They've been just pandering to whatever core audience they have with old-ass content by not providing new stuff. And that's why everybody's like, I want new AAA IP. And then when they see games, like, they just don't hit. Yeah, Marvel Alliance 3 had Spider-Man in it. That wasn't held hostage. I don't know. Exactly. Nobody complained about that. I say, God damn it, Craig's exclusive to Xbox. Why is Craig not in everything? Craig has to be in everything. You know? Sony is going to do... That's what I mean. I wrote this in my tweet. I said, Google wants to have paid DLC, not part of their policy, so Microsoft's circumventing that by going into the Samsung store. Apple doesn't want peer-to-cloud things in their store and wants a cut of all the DLC. They don't want people bypassing their DLC thing. They don't want me buying a DLC in a virtual environment and Apple cannot monetize that. They don't want me going to the cloud and like, well, I'm going through Microsoft and buying through them directly through Apple Store through a remote server so I could buy all this stuff. And Apple's like, wait a second, we need a cut of all that DLC. You know, if you go into the game store and you buy a bunch of Gears skins and stuff, we want a cut for every skin that's purchased. And Phil Ness is not having that. They're like, no, they go to our cloud and do it. That's why Apple doesn't allow that. And Sony is using their exclusives and their leverage to get exclusive content and exclusive games. Meanwhile, Phil just can't wait to put his shit everywhere. And this is what I said before. Phil's running around Kumbaya and these other competition. Hey, man, you want to put Banjo on a Nintendo? Go ahead. Thanks. You made our fans excited. Thank you. You want to go put Cuphead on everything? Go ahead. Yeah. You didn't want to lock that studio down. You didn't want to make that game only exclusive. Nah. Ori on, yeah, sure, put Ori on everything. You want to be generous? Well, people are going to, you know, some guys walking around going, hey, you know what? I'll give you $20. You mean there's no hook? Nah, you want $20? I don't care. You don't have to pay me back. You sure? No hook? No hook, yeah. Everybody's going to take $20 from that guy. And what's going to be left of that guy at the end of the street? He's going to have nothing left in his wallet because everybody's going to take him there. And what do you think's going to happen? He's going to have no money. They took all his stuff. Everybody takes. So if Phil's willing to take out his IP and say, hey, Halo's not under one roof anymore. Oh, sure. Hey, put Halo all over the place. Thank you. Steam says thank you. You know, if you're handing out hand-me-outs, the people are going to take them. And you're not demanding repercussions or you're not doing counters to that at all, you know what? You're the fool. But I think you're willing to make those sacrifices because you really think that that's going to give you any leverage. But you're not. You're losing all the leverage you have because you just diluted all your franchises without having replacements. See, Sony's creative. Hey, we'll give you Horizon Zero One on PC because we got 2 coming to PlayStation 5 exclusively. Yeah, they're fishing out those PC dudes to be like, hey, maybe they want to break up a PlayStation 5. That's the thing. I'll give you this, but guess what? I got something better in the back pocket. Phil doesn't have that. He's giving out whatever goods he got left and not replacing the goods with better goods. Instead, he's replacing it with fucking Game Pass fodder. And that's not the way to go. So, they're learning the hard way right now that not everybody wants to roast marshmallows with Phil. And Xbox has a huge, huge uphill battle. Just between gamer mindshare, between trying to win Halo fans back after that travesty of Halo with original assets, and trying to convince people why they need to buy a goddamn console. Because if they don't buy this next-gen console, this XCloud stuff is going to be even accelerated faster. Just look at the X. Give it 3 years, 2.5 years, 3 years. That's it. Discontinued. We're not making any more X's anymore. And Phil said it when the X was announced. Like, oh, we're not going to sell a lot of these things. Like, you know, mostly S's are going to sell. Well, he was right, and he discontinued it real fast. After all that year of hype and PUBG. But guys, they need the content. Sony and Nintendo have the content. Yeah, Xbox X did give it to them right in the fucking X hole. They gave it to everybody. I'm so glad I didn't jump on that hype train. Instead of buying an X, I bought a PlayStation 4 Pro, and I never looked back. I got to experience games that I would have held on to Xbox and be like, no, I can't go get PlayStation. Instead of spending that money on an X, I said, I'm buying a Pro. When Phil came out and said $500 for an X, I'm like, I'm not paying $500 again for a console. And then showing me no lineup for it and telling me Lucky's Tales, I'm like, nah, man. I'm going to take my $500 that I plan on using and I'm going to buy a PlayStation. And I bought a PlayStation and I bought their games and I started playing their games more and more and more. And I just started saying, you know what? I'm just going to play my multiplats on here too and call it a day. And that's what I did. Came for the exclusives, stayed with the multiplats. And even seeing the games that you get with PlayStation Now and stuff. Like, I look back, PlayStation Plus, they give you fucking games are crazy they're giving you. They gave you Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. That thing came out like in April. I know, right? Didn't come with a Kinect camera. Which I still had a Kinect camera. Actually, I had to throw it out because GameStop wouldn't take it back. And I didn't have the adapter. Disgraceful. They're a mess. They're a mess. They lost so much mind share. And the thing is when and they talk such a huge game. See, if Phil comes out and he talks to XCloud and he's wearing his jacket and all slick. He talks about the power of the Xbox and they're just so confident with that stuff. But you don't see them coming out today and apologizing for any mismessaging on XCloud or anything. No. The only time they come out and apologize is when they show fucking games. That's the problem. Every time they had that game showcase, they had to go, damage control. This is really only a 2-week-old build, but you liked our original concept trailer, so we went back to the original assets and, and we shaved all the brutes to make them look like just like empty-less meh faces. Like, no. That's not design. That game was rough. That game looks like it was made over a fucking weekend for that show. That's what that game looks like. That game looks like it was like hot off the presses. And this game's coming in hot. Game Night says, why Seprasoft working with 3-foot? Oh my God. I said they're working with all these contractors because right after that game releases, they're firing everybody. The contract's over. Now they just need to keep the lights on and give draw classic weapons and stuff. Yeah, right. They dropped Snap. And for all and what's amazing is for all the talking, and I said this on Playing Xbox back in the day, for all the talking that they want you to do with your console with Cortana and Xbox turn on, and they should have been the one and revamping the controller. They should have been the ones to put a microphone in the controller from day one. Their system needed to be spoken to. Why wouldn't you put a microphone in the controller? You put a headphone jack in it. You made 5 different versions of the controller. Why wouldn't you do it? Instead, Sony beats them to it. Meanwhile, Microsoft was the one that you were yelling at your controller, yelling at your TV. But they're learning the hard way now. They're learning the hard way that it's going to be an uphill battle, and their competition views them as competition. So Phil could be like, well, I don't view Sony as competition. Well, that's good because Sony views you as competition, and they're going to flex and use their exclusive powers and stuff to put the nail in the coffin and really end you. And until you stop making consoles, maybe then Sony will open up the gates for you. But right now, you're their competition. So you need to put up a shut up. So it's time now for...
Enough from me. We're going to have the games do our talking.
And that's what you need to do. Because enough of this talk. This cloud, the streaming, the where, the who, the how, the why, the what. And that's where you drop the ball. You need to create the content that people want to play. And then maybe they'll come to your service. And then maybe you'll have leverage to go against the competition, and you need to use this competition. So maybe they'll open the doors for you when you have something that's worth a damn. But right now, you're shooting blanks, and they're not changing their policies. So until you have something to give you some leverage, you're just going to stay on Samsung phones and maybe some Android phones. And this thing's not going to take off the way you wanted it. And Apple put a huge kibosh on this whole xCloud thing that I'm sure Satya is going to be flipping over some tables tomorrow, seeing that, Apple is just not playing. And, this whole xCloud vision just put on hiatus because it's just Samsung phones. So he's going to have to pull out some good finesse around that round table. But with that, everybody, I want to thank you for another successful Grinds My Gears show, impromptu, with over 50 people watching live. Hit that like button. Share the video out. I appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. We got a new subscriber tonight. I want to thank you again. Hit that subscribe, share it out, get your friends to subscribe, because again, I don't know when I'm gonna go live. Like I don't know, and I wanna make it as something, that I feel about, like, rather than some sort of like, oh well, I'm gonna pretend to be angry here. No. I just wanted to, things that I really want to talk about, and, things that I've been talking about for the last couple of years are coming to a head. And the reason why I do this is because I've been saying this stuff and was kind of treated as like, you were just like extreme negativity, fear-mongerer. But the thing is that I was bringing up these cautionary things early on because I saw through the bullshit. I was like, no, this is not good. And every step of the way, I was like, no, them putting their games, that's not good. That's going to hurt them in the long run when they try to sell a console. Them giving this, them not making quality, great games now is going to hurt them next generation, because nobody's going to want to play the games next gen because they're not playing them now. Oh, what do you mean? They got games? No, they don't. I'll buy that for $1 exactly. And look what's happening. It's all coming to a head. It's making them harder now to try to sell new hardware because they're focused on getting their games on phones. It's hard and it's hard for them to, they're trying to get their games on phones through a service. They don't believe in the console anymore. They're trying not to sell it, but then they're trying to sell it. They're telling you how powerful it is, but then it doesn't need the power because it doesn't get held back. So who cares about the power, because we got to support the older platforms. We need to put a scalable on PC. Like, all these decisions that they've been making in the last 2 years that I was like, this is going to come to a head. This is not going to really work for them, because people were hoping for the reboot. They were hoping for the Sony stumble, and Microsoft comes in and goes, guys, all those years since 2000, we're just fucking with you. Yeah, we're going to make Xbox Live for free, which... Post note, Xbox Live is not going anywhere. There's no plans on any changes. And they never said not now or at this time. They said, we're not changing shit. That's what they said. So whatever spin people go, oh, but not now. No. L's were handed out. Xbox Live is not going away. And you heard it here on Grinds My Gears. I said it, the last time. They're not going to lose the money from Call of Duty and Madden people. Just be like, yeah, we're just fucking with you. You don't have to pay anymore. No, they're going to pivot. They're going to say, hey, you still want to play online? Well, now you got to get Game Pass with online, because that's the way it goes now. You can't just buy just online for a year anymore. You could buy it for a month or two, but not for a year, because if you want the long ones, you got to put it in Game Pass. So now they're trying to upsell you. But in the rare instance that they do get rid of online and just say, we're fucking with you, that's a good move, because that puts pressure on Sony and Nintendo to do the same. And then we don't have to pay for online anymore. Hey, that's good news. So I'm not going to complain if that happens. But for the people going like, that's the mic drop, that's what they need to do. It's like, what happened to the games? If the game showed up, Halo was supposed to be the mic drop. All this stuff was supposed to be mic drops. They never came. So stop, how many times are we going to be disappointed from them? That's what they do. They disappoint people. And that's why I'm just grinds my gears, man. They're just so disappointing. They used to hit shit, hammer on the head of the nail. Like, they used to be on point. This generation, they flip-flopped and flebbed and flopped and just all that stuff, and Sony gained ground and huge mind share and huge leverage with developers. That's right. 84 years I'm waiting for that mic drop. It's not coming. The mic drop's going to be Xbox is no more, and I hope that's not the mic drop. But, that mixer was a mic drop. I'll tell you right there. Like, they paid all that money for Ninja, and then, 6 months later, they drop it for Ninja. But I think right now, like Game Pass, this XCloud, this is Xbox's Ninja. This is the Ninja Shroud move. Like, hey, it's not working. Let's spend some money. Let's buy some studios. Let's buy some Ninja and Shroud and see if we could gain traction that way. With XCloud and Game Pass, let's see if we could do that. And what happens if they don't? iOS just shut down a huge branch of XCloud right now. What happens? Do they say, console guys, we were just messing with you? We're coming back home? Go Ninja, go Ninja. That's right. But I'm going to tell you right now, last thing. They have a big hill to climb. And this XCloud thing, we'll see how it goes. But with that, everybody, again, it's been Grinds My Gears, Jez7780. Please like, share out that video on your way out. Good night, stay safe, and you never know when I'm going to go live again. And until then, I am Ghost. Thank you again.